Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is installing new positive and negative terminals for the Foxbody Mustang. And by that, I mean putting in terminals that actually will give us more than what we asked for. These. So let's go ahead and talk about what these are and the install process. So these are the Knukonceptz Ultimate Battery Terminals. So you guys can see right here with their cheesy little slogan, "Our love for audio is terminal." What this is going to do is allow me to upgrade this. And those of you guys that own Foxbody or own any vehicle, once you tighten these down to a certain point, it becomes impossible. And even then, look, you just wiggle a little bit, it comes right off. So this is not a great terminal connection point for this vehicle. And also, it doesn't give me the ability to add on future power connections. It's a lot of the people, when they install car audio, from what I've seen, into the Foxbody Mustang, they tap the solenoid over here, which is wrong. You're not supposed to go to here. You're supposed to go directly to the battery. So this, what it will allow us to do is it will give us a few different gauges for us to tap in different accessories into. This one right there, that middle one, that's going to be the 8 gauge for the amplifier that I purchased. You have another smaller one for auxiliary lighting, or maybe you want to put in a heavy duty fuel pump or something along those lines. And then of course you have your 0 gauge, which would be for your heavy bass applications. What's really cool about this, and fun fact, those of you guys that don't know, the positive and the negative are two different sizes. The negative is smaller, so you can't put, some people, they'll be like, oh, I want it to be double black. It's not, I mean, you could, but ideally you want red to be positive, black to be negative. And what's really cool about these is the same thing on the ground side. It gives you a optional 0 gauge, 8 gauge, and then your 12 gauge wire right there for your ground accessory. Now this will easily come right off, and then it will have a nice Allen key over here to do your adjustments and your tightening, which is a lot better than this right there. So ideally this is going to go on the car like so, like that. This one's going to go right there like that. So it's going to look super clean, super nice. So the very first thing that you want to do is disconnect the battery. The correct way to disconnect the battery on a vehicle is you disconnect the negative first and then the positive. The reason you want to do that is because if you disconnect the positive first, then you have the potential of shorting out whenever you take this thing off. So that's the correct order. Now the correct order to put everything back on is going to be positive first and then the negative. Now that you guys have the battery disconnected, we can go straight to removing the factory terminals off of here. So the best thing to do is start with one terminal at a time. In this case, I'm going to start with the positive, since this is the first one that I have to plug in. What we're going to do is get a 7/16 and we're going to back these out and then get this wire off of here. So now that you have everything in position the way you want it, make sure you guys get some heat shrink, because you're going to need it. Just in order for me to put that on the floor, it goes. Get the heat shrink, slide it on first and foremost, because you won't be able to get this past the crimping once you guys get the crimped on here. So next, you want to get your terminal, slide it on over, make sure it's on all the way. You guys can definitely check and see your depth and we're exactly where we need to be. So we're going to go ahead and get this on here, shut on, and then it's going to go on like this. This is how it's going to want to go onto this particular terminal. It's going to want to go on exactly like that. So what we're going to need to do is make this crimp onto there, and for that I have this tool. This is a tool I've had for a long time. It allows you to go from 000 all the way down to an 8 gauge just by pressing this You guys can rotate the wheels to however you want. So right there, that's a 4. And when I crimp it on, it will be on. Now I'm going to go ahead and crimp this guy right on here. Just gotta crimp the steering just a bit. Right there. Hold that cable. And on we go. You guys can see there, it's on. But just for all intents and purposes, I like to double crimp, so I'll come up a little bit higher. I'll do one more crimp right around this area. So there we go. That cable is on solid. Now we'll slide over our heat shrink. Got something like that. And then we'll just heat shrink that on there. Got my trusty torch. So I'll go on, turn this bad boy on. And short order this. So now that you have the terminal on, the next thing you want to do is get the wire in position. We're going to be going at it like this. So we're going to open this up, unscrew that. You guys can take this off there if you'd like. And this will go on like that. Remember, the washer goes towards the outside, and then you'll get it on there. So now that the terminals are done, the next thing that you want to do is get them secured on there. And the way that you're going to secure them on there is a 6mm hex bit, or Torx bit, or whatever y'all want to call it. And then you guys are going to gently screw it on. Remember, you don't want to strip these things, but in the event that you do decide to go full Hulk and strip these things, you guys can always get a pair of pliers and twist them off, but hopefully you won't do that. And now that this side is on, the next thing you want to do is tighten up this over here, and that's held on with a 5mm. Get your 5mm on there, get it in position. Now of course, if you guys already have a red top battery or yellow top battery, this is going to be so much easier because you won't have these gas ports. So that's going to be a huge upgrade for me. And there, that's it. That's all as tight as you guys need to get. You don't need to go whole tight, for the love of God. Everybody for some weird reason wants to over tighten everything in life. You don't have to over tighten these guys. And these, wow, you could even leave them like that. If you really had this chrome engine bay all decked out, that would be super fly. And that's it, guys. That is one of the easiest upgrades you guys can make to any vehicle. This is a modification that's easily applicable to any and all vehicles. The best thing is, like I said, you can easily put whatever accessory you want. 0 gauge, 8 gauge, 4 gauge. You guys can put it in right there without having to find any special fuses or anywhere to put it. And you guys have a solid power connection and a solid ground connection. You can't beat that. For the price, I believe it's 25 bucks for both of them. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what looks better, this or that? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Next time I see you guys, we're going to get inside the car, which, let me give you a little update. The sound deadening is in. I figured nobody really wanted to watch that, as that is very boring and very monotonous, just laying down carpeting and putting it into the vehicle. It's in there, so we're rocking and rolling. And I already found a location for my amp. So in the next video, what we're gonna do is make a custom amp mount. This is something that you guys are gonna wanna watch, because Many times you don't have a spot to put an amp, especially if you guys want to have a clean install. If you guys want to throw the amp in the trunk, fine, be like everybody else and don't have any creativity. But we're going to put the amp in a special location and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. And the best thing is it's going to look super factory and super clean. And it's all leading up to our big wiring installed to the factory head unit. That's going to be amazing. So I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.